Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about the styles for Next.js. So if you look at inside of the app UI, you will see global.css, right? The global.css. So here we have global.css. So you can use this file to add CSS rules to all of your applications, such as CSS reset rules, site-wide styles, for HTML elements like links and more. And then you can import the global CSS into any component in your application, but it's usually good practice to add it to your top level component. So your top level component will be inside of the layout. So that's layout is your top level component because it has your HTML tag, your body, and then children will be any content inside that. So here is where you be going to import that using app UI global.css. Okay, so that's what we've done. Then you can see that we have all these styles over here. I had already added that before, that's why I'm already seeing the style. And as you can see, we didn't add any CSS rules. So if you take a look, you have some Tailwind CSS inside of global CSS, like base, components, utilities, all of these, right? So Tailwind is nothing but a CSS framework that speeds up the development process, allowing you to write quickly using the utility classes. So for every style, or for most of the styles, is using a utility class that allows you to reuse them. Okay, for example, text blue 500 will turn the h1 to blue. Okay, now why it's beneficial is because even if you delete the element, it's not linked to that style. Style is something that's loaded separately. You don't have to worry about maintaining a separate style sheet, style collisions, or size of CSS bundles growing as your application scales. So this is very performant because only the classes you're going to use, only that much style is going to be outputted. So when you're building a new project, and you setting up a new project using Create Next app is going to ask you whether you want to use Tailwind or not. If you select yes, then it will automatically install the necessary packages. In our case, since we are using the example package, it already has the Tailwind. And then if you look at the page.tsx, you'll see all of those classes are actually the Tailwind classes. Okay. If you've not used Tailwind before, don't worry about it. We'll learn about it. Okay, so if I go ahead and paste this somewhere here, okay, and if I go back on the front end, this was what? Div class name relative. Okay, this doesn't have anything inside of it, so we need to add something inside of it. Hello is there, of course. Okay, that's fine. So I'm just gonna get rid of this for now. But you get the idea. Now let's take a quiz. What shape do you see when you put the snippet below? So I guess it's expecting you to have some shape, right? Where is the shape? Oh, there it is, the black triangle. So what shape do you see? Black triangle. So check answer, that's correct. Okay, if you want to use the CSS rules keeping the style separate from JSX CSS modules are great alternative. So CSS modules will allow you to scope CSS to a component by automatically creating unique class names, so you don't have to worry about style collisions as well. So if you create a new file called home module CSS, let's do that inside of app UI. We already have that, great. And then add this following CSS. Then inside of your app page.tsx, a file, import the styles. Okay, so I'm going to import it inside of the page.tsx. I've already imported here. Okay, and then replace the this div with styles.shape. So it's picking up the styles from this file, and dot shape is it's picking up all the styles applied here. Okay, so when you do style.shape is as good as class name that applies all of these styles. Okay, this will produce the same result. As you can see, the triangle is there. Now you should see the same shape before, which is what has happened. So you can either use Tailwind CSS or you can use CSS modules. CSS module is nothing but you create a module like this, for example home.module.css. you can name it whatever you want, then you import it like this, and then you say styles dot whatever that style you want it to be applied, you go ahead and use dot, and then it's going to automatically apply to that div element. So if you notice, if you inspect, so here I guess it's added some custom class, and then all those styles that are added over here, and all those styles are present here. Okay, what's the benefit of using CSS module? Increase the global scope of CSS classes, making them easier to manage across different files. Provide a way to make CSS classes locally scoped to the component, or automatically compress minify CSS files for faster page loading. What could be the answer? Increase the global scope. I think it's this one. Provide a way to make CSS classes locally scoped to components by default. Yep, that's correct. Now using the CLX library to toggle class names, there may be cases where you may need to conditionally style an element based on some state or condition. This is where we'll use the CLX library. Now suppose you want to create an invoice status component which accepts status. Status can be pending or paid. If it's paid, you want the color to be green. If it's pending, you want the color to be gray. So for this we can use CLX invoices status. Here it is. Okay, so we imported the CLSX from that package, from that library, and then using CLX, this is a default classes. Now if the status value of the status prop is pending, then it's going to render these classes, otherwise it's going to render these classes. Okay. So that's what it's used for. Search for CLX in your code editor. What component? Use it to conditionally apply. Okay, let's see. So it's used inside of nav links, button, laces, invoices. Nav link. What about table? No. Status X and pagination. Yeah, what's this one? Other styling solution, in addition to the approaches we've discussed, you can use Sass, okay, which allows you to import CSS or SCSS files, or CSS in JS, which is style.jsx. Okay, so that's it. We'll stop now, and then we'll go further for fonts and images in the next video. Thank you very much.